Hey everybody, it's the Texas Fish Pro Lady, and this is part 2 of getting to know the Texas Fish Pro Lady. And I want to dedicate this special episode to the memory of a very special person, Mr. Danny Furstenfeld, who taught me how to fish. Danny is the father of the 2 brothers in the band Blue October, and that's Justin and Jeremy Furstenfeld. Many of you have asked me about that, asked me if I'm the original bass player, and yes, I am the original bass player for Blue October. I appear on their very first CD called The Answers, which you can find a link to in the description below. This is my personal copy of The Answers here. You can see me inside with short hair playing the bass. I had just jumped in the river in San Marcos before we played a show on the plaza there, just before school was starting at the university there. It was very hot, and we were out in the summer sun all day. It was so hot, and the water in San Marcos is so inviting that I jumped in all my clothes to cool off, which is why my hair's wet. You can see that the original 4, including me, all signed this copy here. Blue October was kind enough to include me in their documentary that came out in 2020. This is my copy of that here as well, and I really enjoyed this documentary, and I was really touched that they included me. And I've included a link to this below as well. So both of these items you can find in the video description or on my Facebook page. Justin and Jeremy's parents, Dan and Roki Furstenfeld, are very special people, and I was fortunate to become part of their extended family. They treat everyone as an equal in God's eyes, and as a result, anyone who ever crossed paths with these folks, and they were running our merch counter, they were doing everything. They spent all their free time helping. Everybody became instant best friends for life and were always uplifted by the love and the comfort that Danny and Roki shared not only with each other, but with the whole world. They are a true example in my eyes of happiness and faith, and they are really poetry in motion, and they're a shining example for all to see and bask in their loving kindness, including myself, and for that I'm grateful. During the 6 years that I was in the Houston band Blue October, the whole Furstenfeld family treated me like family, like their daughter or their sister. And they didn't have any girls in the family, so in the immediate family, so that worked out for me. I spent a lot of time at their family home and went to many Sunday dinners at their house that Roki would prepare. I was with that band for 6 years, and they've still been going strong for almost 30 years now, touring all over the world. It's really incredible what they've done. But I fished with Dan Furstenfeld for a lifetime, even when I was no longer in the band, until he passed away in 2020. And this is a shot of the very first fish I ever landed after learning from Danny. Danny took me and several of our best Blue October fans out on his fishing boat, which included Donnie and Jesse, and we went on a fishing expedition in what used to be called the Flamingo Isles, which is now called Harbor Walk. And I still go fish up in there as well as gas up and get food because it's a canal community. It's very protected from the wind. You may have seen me there in some of my videos. They're getting gas and food, and Harbor Walk has always been a safe haven for me in storms or when I'm out of gas or food while I'm out on Galveston Bay. But they've been through a lot in the last years, including devastation from Harvey and other floods that we've had here in Houston. It's a first-class facility, but they've been struggling to reopen all the facilities over the last several years. So I'm including a link to their website as well below in the video description so you can support their amenities, because their location is a crucial midpoint for all mariners on the Galveston Bay Complex. And I'll never forget the very first time I stopped there. I met the manager, Troy, and he was the same guy that had sold me my center console fishing boat. Out of the old Tiki Island Marina before they closed down. And I instantly felt at home there, and they have great sandwiches upstairs. Here's my old center console fishing boat that I bought from Troy at the Tiki Island Marina. But I'll tell you this, the Sea-Doo Fish Pro Jet Ski is way easier, faster, efficient, and cost-effective than a boat. I know you've heard me talk about that too. But back to Blue October. Danny and Roki actually ended up funding and devoting all of their free time to Blue October around the release of the first album when I was the original bass player. We had some really amazing things happen, like the time that Prairie from Griff's Bar suggested we fill in when the scheduled talent canceled at the last minute for Dusty Hill's private birthday party. A last minute gig to play for Dusty Hill of ZZ Top's private birthday party. Here's a picture of Dusty playing my old bass and my old drums. They came and asked me for my permission for Dusty to use my music gear, which I was blown away. Of course, you know, they're rock gods. And I can tell you this, Dusty Hill played the bass like a guitar, which is one of the reasons why I think he's so good. And of course, he was there. It was crazy. Here's a PBS interview that I got to be a part of with Blue October. And check out all these snippets from other old video recordings of me playing with Blue October. I also need to give a special thanks to Joe Mullally and Norman Izquierdo and all of the other folks that took films and photographs and for sharing them on YouTube and online, because they're very special, and I'm grateful to be able to share them with everyone today. favorite memories with Danny include not only fishing, but his unwavering support of his community, his family, his whole family, and his children's dreams. Brian De La Houssaye and Justin Furstenfeld would help me design flyers and posters for our shows. And then Danny would drive me around Houston so I could paper all the light poles in town with our schedules. And so Danny also taught me how to use a staple gun. I'll tell you, Danny had the best sense of humor ever, and I learned a lot from that as well. I think he really got a kick out of watching Blue October blossom as a new and upcoming band in Houston. And I know that Danny and Roky's musical tastes and influence also had a big impact on the Blue October early sounds and style, which many compared to the Dave Matthews Band back then, which was the mid-90s. I'd fished before with friends and family, and even as a child while sailing with my dad, but no one had ever taught me how to feel the fish on the other end of the line. This is the most important part of fishing, and that's the most important thing I think Danny taught me, because that's how you know how to set the hook, because that's going to be different depending on what kind of fish you think you've got. And also how to coax the fish near the boat without losing it off the hook, which is really the most critical part. Roky and Danny Furstenfeld both treated me like family, and I continued to visit with them and fish with Dan long after I was not in the band anymore, and even after they both retired. Dan got his captain's license and started his own fishing charter service. So we used to joke that I was his practice client in the early days. There's no doubt in my mind that being taught by somebody who was not just a saltwater fisherman, but was also a fisher of men in his community, in his devotion as an officer and a volunteer guide, that it was Danny's evergreen, never give up attitude is what separates me today as a fisherwoman. I can still hear Danny inside my head saying, "Keep that rod up, girl. See that seagull sitting over there? Throw that bait right at it. If you feel 3 little tugs on the line, just leave it sitting there, because that's a flounder, and it takes them a while to swallow the hook and the bait. Just be patient and let it keep working it down." Later, when I was talking to my own dad on the phone one night, he told me he'd seen my fishing photos on Facebook and was jealous, because if he'd known that I was going to love fishing so much, we would have done more of it when I was little. It actually runs in my family on the paternal side, and we had a great uncle who used to have a fishing camp down in Collegeport. And but to my dad's credit, he took up sailing when I was a child, and I became his deckhand, pilot, and assistant navigator until I left for college. He definitely taught me plenty of water skills. He also served in the Merchant Marines during his summers at A&I, and he had the knowledge and competence that took us on many, many great adventures on our old Gulf Coast 23 sailboat. My dad was also an avid photographer, and that's definitely where I inherited the photography bug from. Looking back now at the work I've done on my fishing channel, I can see now where those 2 strong fatherly influences in my life created something special that I so enjoy today. And for that, I'm so grateful. I still use lures that Danny gave me and lures that my father had and that were passed down from our great uncle. I navigate using the old charts from my father, and isn't that something now that I can see that cross-section? But I lost both Danny and my father exactly 1 year apart in 2020 and 2021. Losing both father figures in the span of a single year was an inexplicable loss for me, and one that I'm only just now able to talk about. What these men taught me has become my life's purpose now, and especially that I've graduated from film school. It's easy to see my niche in between jet skiing, fishing, and videography. Now I have to get better as a fisherwoman. I hope you've enjoyed part 2 of getting to know the Texas Fish Pro lady. I've certainly enjoyed putting it together and reliving the old memories. And please stay tuned for more fishing and riding videos. Please be sure to like my videos below and subscribe to my channel so I can continue to bring you new, fresh content. Please also follow me on Facebook. You can search for @the Texas Fish Pro Lady, and there you can see other helpful content that I share and post, and you can also purchase products that you've seen me use in my videos or talk about in my videos. Thank you again for watching and for your support, and please stay tuned for the next episode of the Texas Fish Pro Lady. Bye for now. Texas Fish Pro Lady, signing off.